To say that my life changed when my mother married Dino Cavalli would be like saying the tornado changed things for Dorothy. Growing up as a teenager is difficult enough. You have friends, family, and grades to worry about. So growing up as a teenager and having to cope with a stepfather would just be distressing. Imagine the life of a teenage girl who has to cope with a crazy, genius, and arrogant stepfather. My stepfather was both crazy and a genius, and I guess that's where I should start. If you've read about him recently, you already know this. He was a human meteor. Supposedly, there's an actual research link between extreme creativity and mental illness, and I believe it because I've seen it with my own eyes. Sure, you have the artists and writers and musicians like my mom, say, who are talented and calm and get things done without much fuss. The closest thing she gets to madness is when she gets flustered and calls me William, which is our dog's name. But then there are the Van Goghs and Hemingways and Mozarts, those who feel a hunger so deep, so far down that greatness lies there too. Those who get their inner voice and direction from the cool, mysterious insides of the moon and not from the earth like the rest of us. In other words, brilliant nuts. Madness and genius, they are the disturbed pals of the human condition. The Bonnie and Clyde, the Thelma and Louise, the baking soda and vinegar. Insanity just walks alongside the brilliant like some creepy, insistent shadow. Edgar Allan Poe, Virginia Woolf, Charles Dickens, William Faulkner, Dostoevsky, Cézanne, Gauguin, Walt Whitman, and F. Scott Fitzgerald and Michelangelo. All wacko. And we can't forget the musicians, because this story is about them, especially. Schumann and Beethoven, Chopin and Handel and Rachmaninoff and Liszt, Tchaikovsky and Wagner. And, of course, Dino Cavalli. Some people think the brilliant have been touched by God, and if this is true, then Dino Cavalli got God in the day he was wearing black leather and listening to his metal CDs, feeling a bit twisted and in a kind of mood where you'd laugh at people when they fall down. Because, sure, Dino Cavalli was a world-renowned composer and a violinist, a combination of talent virtually unheard of, but there were days he didn't get out of bed even to shower. And sure, he wrote and performed the Amore Innamorato, said to have moments of such brutal tenderness and soulful passion that it'll live forever in the hearts of the audience members. But he also had the ability to make you feel small to the point of disappearance. His perfectionism could shatter your joy like a bullet through a stained glass window. Respect. That was what was lacking in the household. Dino didn't respect me, or my mother either, for that matter, or anyone who wasn't his own perfect self. Dino was fluent in criticism, as generous in spirit as those people who keep their porch lights off all Halloween. If my mom was dressed up to go out and looking beautiful, he'd point out her pimple. If you opened the wrong end of the milk carton, he would make you feel you were incapable to the point of needing to be institutionalized. After I'd bought this jacket with fur around the collar and cuffs at Old Stuff, Dino had pointedly told me that people who tried to make some statement of individuality were still only conventional among those of their group. I'm not trying to make a statement, I said. I was trying to keep a sharpness out of my voice, but it was like trying to hold water in your hands. My tone was seeping through every crack and opening possible. I didn't say you were. Did I say you were? It was a commentary on dress and group behavior. He chewed a bite of chicken. He was a loud, messy eater. You could hear the chicken in there smacking around against his tongue. By avoiding conventions, one falls into other conventions. I felt the ugly curl of anger starting in my stomach. I'm sorry. I just don't want to be one of those girls who bat their eyelashes at boys, rah, wearing demoralizing short skirt and bending over so the crowd sees their butt. That's convention. Anger made my face get hot. Be who you like. I was simply making an observation. You don't need to bite me with your feminist teeth. Honestly, I don't know how my mother didn't poison his coffee. Certainly, I wondered what she was thinking by loving it. this is what could happen to a supposedly charming and romantic guy, then no thank you.